normal people become terrified of criminals.
Shots were just fired. Police just came out and told us, and we're headed there right now.
They become terrified of their own government.
Headline from the Washington Post. Momentum behind impeachment increase slows under new speaker. Now hold on there a minute. Why aren't they running the major headline of Speaker of the House says no impeachment? They want Joe Biden impeached. They're like, come on, Republicans, you have to walk into this one. So we have this video. Ed Krasenstein, you know him, you love him. He tweets out this video. Let's play the clip for you so you can hear it yourself as to why he's saying no impeachment at this time.
I mean, let this be an open invitation to President Biden. I know the White House is recording all this. They're watching what we do here. Here's the open invitation. President Biden, Secretary Blinken, any of the Biden family members and associates, or anyone who seeks to clear their name. Anybody involved in this investigation at all, you can come right here. You are welcome here in Congress to our committees. We on the House Judiciary Committee, House Oversight Committee, Weaponization Committee, the Ways and Means Committee, any of them. Pick your committee, and we'll bring you in, and you can clear your name. Mr. Speaker, we would love to return our full focus to our regular and important work here. But the facts and our sworn oath to defend the Constitution require this inquiry. And I'll close this with this, and I'm going to bring up a couple of my colleagues who will share their thoughts as well. But remember that Article 1, Section 2 of the Constitution itself expressly states that the sole power of impeachment belongs here to this House. And then Article 2, Section 4 says, listen to the language carefully. It's expressly written in the Constitution. This is not political talking points. We're not making this up. It says in Article 2, Section 4 that the president shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes or misdemeanors. My friends, I just listed just a small sampling, just the tip of the iceberg of the credible allegations and the mounting evidence that shows that Joseph Biden has engaged in bribery schemes, pay-to-play schemes. This is what the evidence shows.
And now for the best part. Here is the quote from the Speaker of the House. There is insufficient evidence at the moment to initiate formal impeachment proceedings against Joe Biden. So after hearing what he just said, now you have it from the Washington Post as well. You have the tweet from Mike Cernovich. He says, congratulations, everyone. That's his quote. So why the change of why the change of pace here? And I think it's fairly obvious. Democrats actually want him impeached and convicted. And the Republicans, like Mike Johnson previously was saying, yes, look what he's done. We have evidence. We have these checks. All of a sudden, he's saying there's insufficient evidence to move forward. Yeah, they want Biden to stay.
Yeah, it's kind of hilarious that the Washington Post headline is sort of scolding Mike Johnson for not moving forward with the impeachment we all theoretically wanted for a while. But it just goes to show you the DNC absolutely hates Biden.
And maybe it's just a 4D chess move. I mean, they know that Biden is the weakest candidate here. And if they can keep him in and allow him to essentially ruin the country for as long as he has and the rest of his election, I think they know what they're doing here.
I kind of feel the same way. It does seem like they've got all this stuff out in the open. It's pretty obvious that he should be impeachable, but he is not.
Hey, they're not going to impeach him. So this is what the Washington Post says it this way. In a closed-door meeting with House GOP moderates this week, he indicated that there is insufficient evidence at the moment to initiate formal impeachment proceedings, according to people who attended the meeting. We'll just go where the evidence goes, and we're not there yet. And then you have, from the Hill, 4 days ago, Mike Johnson has accused Biden of bribery. Now impeachment is in his hands. You see, as he's coming into the speakership, this is what the guy was all about. Now that he's there, what is this, right? I'm not so convinced, right? Mike Cernovich said, congratulations, everybody, but I'm not so convinced it's a bad thing. I stated this in the intro. I am pro Joe Biden. Let's keep Joe Biden in there. Hey, he should be the Democrat nominee. Stop.
Tim is personally campaigning for Joe Biden right now.
Absolutely. I don't understand the argument as to why. I mentioned this before when a lot of people were saying, why aren't they impeaching him now? Why do they keep saying things like this? I was like, maybe they're waiting for an October surprise.
Yeah.
You want to wait. Look, we're a year away from the election. That's an eternity in an election. I mean, judging by metrics on view counts on videos, right? We're going to get a month out. It's going to be nuts. Everyone's going to be watching, eyes glued to everything. You want to maximize the story. You impeach him right now. The story disappears in 3 months. And then what? Nothing. I'm assuming the Republicans, I assumed they would probably they would move for an inquiry and then impeach him some way down the line. Now I'm thinking they're not going to impeach him at all. And I'm all for it.
Let him stay. Let him
Seems
stay.
like they're just using him as a shield.
Yeah.
Scapegoat down the line.
Well, and if Biden got impeached and Kamala became president, it actually would potentially set her up for a run for the White House permanently. And I don't think anyone wants that, including the DNC. She's historically unpopular. Right. And I think generally it looks like the DNC ultimately wants to run Newsom. And so impeaching Joe Biden gets them a half step closer, but it's not perfect. The RNC knows that ultimately Joe Biden is their best bet because he is splitting his own voters in every direction you can see. And so it even though the RNC doesn't know who they want to run, it's probably going to be Trump. They know that Biden is the best opposition because he'll avoid debates and the American public doesn't trust or like him.
Well, the swing states are a perfect example of his support right now. And
absolutely.
They're not looking good.
But I just got to say, like, this statement of insufficient evidence is BS. Everyone knows it. Especially, and if you're a Democrat, you're probably operating under the assumption that the Republicans are lying about their view of the evidence too, because they just put out, what is it, 2 different checks? Was it $40,000 and $200,000? Mike Johnson himself claimed that he has evidence of bribery for impeachment, and now he's walking it back. This is funny because it's like, it reminds me of the beginning of COVID when it was people on the right being like, wear masks quick. And Fauci was like, you don't need to be wearing masks. And then like within a month, Fauci was like, it's best to wear 2 masks. And then all the conservatives were like, no, you can't make me wear a mask. I'm like, this is a weird game of cat and mouse or something.
Is the question then, are House Republicans actually doing a disservice to the American people if they know that he's impeachable, even if it's strategically for the election, it's better to leave Biden in? Are they failing in their own responsibilities by not impeaching him, right?
I'd say yes, they're failing in their responsibilities, but if you want to win an election, you got to do things like this. And clearly, we have lost election after election after election. I mean, you saw Vivek tear into Ronna McDaniel on the stage.
Oh, it was amazing.
It was beautiful.
It was the best debate performance I've ever seen. And, some people said, yeah, but what about Trump? No, Trump had his moments, but Vivek across the board, every step of the way. I would say Trump's key moments, like only Rosie O'Donnell and you'd be in jail, individually as moments are the best moments of debates. But the sustained performance Vivek had, just ripping the machine to shreds, I think was the best overall.
Yeah, but I was told that Nikki Haley won. Okay.
That is true. She won in our hearts and minds, just not in actual reality.
She didn't win anywhere for
No,
me.
I'm just kidding. No, I think part of the thing about Trump is that he is a sustained, I can't talk tonight, sustained performance throughout his whole campaign, right? There is a personality. People who go to his rallies really feel affected by them. He's able to draw support that way. And I think you see the charisma that Vivek has, and that is potentially great. The problem here is that the RNC's preferred candidates like Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis can't handle it. They aren't performing on this level, and the RNC is not willing to recruit and work with someone who has that level of charisma.
I want to give a shout out to our friend Ed Krasenstein over here, a liberal personality on Twitter, who said, it's all theater. It's all an attempt to create these bogus headlines of corruption, bribery, and Biden crime family narratives. That's right. I am outraged. Joe Biden is a good man. He is an American hero, and we should keep him in office to run again.
Hey, I'm pro Biden all the way now. Let's go.
Now that we're seeing the swing state polls, we're like, no, Biden, stay.
Yeah.
Because they're going to bring in someone else. Look, it can only go up with Newsom. I don't know if Newsom can beat Trump. But like Biden leaving, it only goes up. However, I do want to say it would be very satisfying to see Biden both impeached and convicted as the first president to be convicted. That'd be, I don't know, but I'd rather just have Trump be president.
There are pros to all sorts of situations. I mean, obviously, I think RFK is like, no, leave Biden where he is because it is perfect for all the independents running this year. Jill Stein just announced she's going to run with the Green Party. Like,
oh, did she really?
Yeah.
She's back.
She's back.
Which is like, and I mean, that should be a tell of itself that the fact that all of the independents who are coming out ultimately, no matter what the mainstream media tells you, hemorrhage voters away from Biden who can't keep them anyways because they think he's too old and they're not confident in his performance. The best thing he can do for Republicans is stay where he is because he's a roadblock for the DNC.
Yeah.
But again, theoretically, if he did all these things wrong, he should be impeached. And so it is interesting. What is the right path forward?
Winning.
Yeah, probably.
And so it's like, how about we just impeach him after he loses?
I
We
agree.
let him run. Trump wins, and then we impeach him because you can do post-presidential impeachments. That's what they did to Trump, and you can do it, and then we'll criminally charge him and convict him, and he can share a jail cell with his son. They'll play Scrabble together. It'll be very lovely.
It'll be a super fun relationship. They'll love spending time
They'll get
together.
real close.
Yeah, after all these years, they'll finally hang out.
Come on, man. It's not a word. Is absolutely a word. It's in the Scrabble dictionary. That's what I. That's
No,
what
I
hope
think
they'll
whether
do.
the RNC likes it or not, I think Vivek is going to be the future of the GOP, and they're gonna push back on him as hard as they can. I mean, we saw it during the debates, but there's no stopping him at this point.
He's got Trump energy and he's young. I think he is what I said of Vivek the other day is that he is the right-leaning leader of the millennial generation. That is to say, I am not saying he is a leader of all millennials. I am saying of the millennials and younger, and even some older people. But I mean, he speaks really, really well for millennials. Of those who are leaning moderate to right, maybe post-liberal or conservative, this guy is on top of all of the issues. I am not saying for each individual person he is the best candidate for you and that you would like him. I'm saying he has a wider base across millennials leaning to the right, and so he is like the front runner for our generation.
And I think with a slightly different personality, if he wasn't so willing to be front of stage, he actually would have been an RNC top donor and kingmaker in a lot of ways. He has the finances and he can spot where certain issues are leaning. I mean, he is good and he's well versed because he recognized where there was an opportunity for the conservative movement to grow. And if he didn't want to be the person in charge, if he wanted a more backstage presence, he would have been the guy that Ron McDaniels goes to and is like, please, 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 who do you like? Please give us money to support them. And it would have been a position of influence that I ultimately hope there is a young millennial with good American first values having. But right now, Vivek is sort of the leader in this category.
I'm kind of leaning towards just banning super PACs and PACs. It's tough because this conversation's come up quite a bit in the past 10 plus years where you have the Citizens United ruling, a question of whether or not you can give unlimited funds to super PACs. What are the rules? And we all know that these politicians are coordinating with their PACs and their super PACs. They're just not formally coordinating. So someone goes out to dinner, a guy that I met, my neighbor meets a guy and they talk about what the plan is. And then I tell them my plan and he tells them the plan. And then everyone enacts the same plan. We get it. But my view is right now, a lot of these kingmakers, as you mentioned, you've got people who work in big corporations and they're effectively shadow candidates. They fund someone else to stand in front. The argument for getting rid of super PACs and restricting contributions to any politician is that only the rich would be able to run. And my attitude is I'm like, I don't care about rich people.
Well, it's already like that. You look at all these people that run, they're all hyper rich. Like they're all
But I don't even care.
millionaires.
If you're rich, congratulations. My issue is when some ultra wealthy dude who works in a major pharmaceutical company says, I don't want to leave my $13 million a year job, so I'll just give $5 million to this PAC to get a guy elected who will work for me. Make them have to do it. Make them have to resign from their positions or hand off the position and then run for their $144,000 a year job. They're not going to want to do it. Or is it $174,000 or 100? What's the salary? I think it's 174, right? Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. That's my point. I don't know. There's a lot of pitfalls there. The argument is you have a right to spend money how you want. If you want to buy commercials, you can. And then people argue all that'll happen is billionaires will buy commercials for candidates. And so it's an issue of, yeah, okay, you just don't allow that, but it's almost impossible to restrict because of free speech. If I want to say, I like this policy, should I be banned from buying ads saying it? It's impossible to actually figure out where the line is going to be in legislating something like this.
Yeah, it's really difficult. I think ultimately there's no way to divorce American politics from the influence of wealth, and maybe there should be more safeguards in place. I think the thing that I am most interested in is the way that wealth could influence smaller elections, but we actually see more political donors, even at the the elite level, become active at the presidential. I would like to see people who have the money, like maybe there shouldn't be super PACs, but either way, in the current system that we have, wealthy donors hopefully would be more active on a local and state level.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.